Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. I got a good one for you today. Still on Marilyn Manson, Esme Bianco. I don't believe that she is in the lawsuit or someone testifying against Marilyn. That would be for Evan Rachel Wood. I don't know why I want to say Smith, but Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore. But she has an interesting story, and I'm going to present it in a way. I'm not trying to attack her credibility. No, not credibility. I'm sorry, her integrity. No, no, that would be a terrible thing to do. Because when all of us are young, we do very, very profoundly stupid things, and really should not be held well into your 40s on what you did when you were in your 20s. You live, you learn, you grow. But I'm going to leave it there. Now here, Esme Bianco, I have to say I got the two M say, oh my goodness, I got her confused with Esme Bianco, and I did all this research. I said, oh my goodness. And Maryland wants... Okay, let me backtrack. Wait, before I go any further, look, I'm over here struggle streaming. Let me set this straight right here, because this is driving me nuts. Let me make this straight. That's better, that's better. That is better, better. Okay. Well, here you see Esme Bianco, and she speaks about domestic or DV. Now you can't say things for what they are. You gotta abbreviate or use something different so that you know what we're talking about. We are in a strange time in human existence. Now here, Esme Bianco, she opens up about the abuse. And well, you could basically read it for yourself, but she just basically says that she was with Marilyn Manson between 2011 and 2012, or 2010 and 2011, and she's from Hertfordshire. Ooh, that Hertfordshire. Ooh, that's a hard name, England. And what's interesting is at that time she left England to, okay, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but she left England to come over here, and at some point she met Marilyn Manson and they had a relationship. But the interesting part, and I cannot find this article because I had it yesterday and it sort of disappeared. Excuse me, disappeared. She left her husband to come over here because she was married before. She left her husband to come over here, spend some time with Marilyn Manson, and Marilyn was like, okay. All these emergency things. Hold on for a second. It would be nice if the emergency vehicles would just take 1 hour, or people could just take 1 hour so I can... Okay, that sounds really self-absorbed. Well, then she started dating Marilyn Manson, and whatever occurred, they broke up. But the interesting part was, after when they broke up, she gets into movies over here, and let's really be honest. We're gonna have to be honest about all this stuff here. When people get with these musicians, actors, actresses, a lot of times, in my opinion, from what I see, because these relationships never last long, it is a come up for the person that is with the actor or actress. they get exposure by being with that person. All of a sudden job offers happens, and then they're like, okay, thank you, got what I need, and go. Now here's a hurtful thing, is that when these people like Marilyn Manson, who has been established, and he didn't do the things that people are doing now, getting with people to get uh, to get recognized. No, he went out there and he bust his behind to get noticed, went on talk shows. He did it the hard way, and I have a lot of respect for him. Oh, I thought another emergency vehicle was coming, but now you have a new age of people that were born in the middle 80s, and I'm not saying anything negative about millennials. I'm not saying anything negative about you. It's just that it's just what some of you do. And okay, that's let me back up. I'm not going to get no social stigma or anything like that. Let me just stick with this right here. I'm sorry. So she comes over, gets with Marilyn Manson, and then she really gets into the American culture, gets jobs, and does well. But here's the interesting part. Now that Evan Rachel Wood is putting all this out there, now she was abused psychologically. I mean, she really gets down to it. Let me see. Here she says that if you look down at the very last part, she says that after many years, she opened up that she had suffered from panic attacks, night terrors, and was in a constant state of fear. She often confused being a domestic DV survivor, she wrote. Now, all right. Now, again, I said I was not going to touch her integrity, but her intention. That is what I'm looking at. Now, if you went through something this traumatic, and I don't know whether if this is just a Hollywood thing, that they go through these things and just don't say anything, and then maybe 20 years later then come out and say something when someone else says something that went through something 20 years ago, like not 20, maybe 10 years ago, like Evan Rachel Wood. She was engaged to Marilyn Manson twice, but couldn't seem to get him down the aisle. But when he meets Lindsay and marries her, then all of a sudden all this stuff happens. I mean, you have to, you don't have to, but just look at it. Just look at it for what it really is. Evan does all of this. She's upset, angry. In my opinion, this is all conjecture on me and what I believe. It doesn't mean it's true. So I'm just telling you what I believe by looking at how things fall into place. Now, Esme, she goes a little extra. I mean, where is it at? Oh, and this is her new boyfriend. Okay, here. Now, here is something rather interesting. Now, I went on these different sites, and I'm just seeing stuff like this, giving a breakdown on her bio. Now, I see two interesting things here, and one was HAQ. It goes, okay, wait a minute, on this side, and the other one where it says Esme Augusta Bianco on the wiki. Now, it says that she is, you can see it. She's born in 82, 39, St. Albans, UK. She's British, in a relationship. Spouse, partner, Marilyn Manson. Now, I don't know whether if this came from an interview. I'm not quite sure. But he never married her. But if you look on the other side, it says, oh man, I'm sorry, that little strip, they put it exactly where I didn't want them to put it, but it said that in a relationship, single. So I thought that was rather interesting. And I'm going to keep this one kind of short. I don't want to take this too long. But here, I found this article, and she says that in this case, he almost destroyed her. The Game of Thrones. Just look at how. Just look at how things fall into place. Just look at it. Just look at the chronology. If you look at the chronology, then you could say, I hear you, but it's just a bit like, oh, do I? Okay, so just take a look at it. This is rather interesting. Here. Okay, she says she was in a relationship with Marilyn Manson. So here, let me move this over. I find this rather interesting. I'm just going to paraphrase. You can read it. And she, said that that in the late 90s, she had a huge crush on Marilyn Manson. She was 16, had pictures on her walls, like many of us do, with the celebrities that we like. And Bianco's parents wouldn't let her go to his show, so she listened to the Mechanical Animals album repeatedly over and over and over again. I don't know, maybe she hypnotized herself, who knows. But here she says 7 years later, Bianco then got a chance to meet Marilyn Manson in person and was thrilled. She said the encounter led to several years of psychological torment and violence that derailed her acting career and left her with physical scars and PTSD. She said she went from being a massive role model who really needed help to go through some kind of incredible dark and difficult times as a teenager to a monster. And it just goes on. So you gotta you really have to stop and think, like, young and impressionable has this idea of who Marilyn, that he's my idol, and have whatever thoughts she had about, she's 16, she has him on the wall. Oh, I could be one day Mrs. Manson. So wild. Look, don't act like that I wasn't the only one that had the biggest crush on. Oh my goodness, who had the biggest crush on besides Denzel Washington and Tom Cruise? Just don't act like I'm the only one. Okay, you did too. Yeah, I know you did too. but it gets interesting. I mean, she meets a person. Now, those of you who don't understand what I'm not gonna say understand, but laugh now, cry later symbols. You have the little masks. Laugh now, cry later. Now, that right there applies to theater or just in Hollywood. The person who you see in front of you, Marilyn Manson's persona is like cry now. He puts himself out as a devil worshiper, and anything dark and evil, that's what he shows himself as. He marketed himself as that. And it's easy to put all this garbage on him because that is his public persona when he's out there singing. But when you take all that off, he's crying now, but then he's laugh later because he's not that person that he portrays himself to be. I don't know of anyone, but it would be hard to imagine for anyone to become an actor or whatever it is, and who they are, they're going to put that out there. Imagine how hold on for a second. I need to sue these people for PTSD and psychological damage, because every time I make a video, all of you hear all of these emergency vehicles going up and down the strip that I live on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So many things are happening while I'm trying to do this. My apologies. So, it's I lost my train of thought. So I'm not questioning her integrity, but her intentions. So if someone did all these things and you have all these psychological issues, I have to ask myself one question: did you get help? And two, did you go to the police? Because if he did this to you, and I understand that you may have fear, but one should be concerned with, if he did this to me, I don't want someone else going through what I went through. So if I can save a woman from going through this, I'm going to report this person and say, hey, this person is a complete and utter scumbag, and he or she needs to be taken off the street because they're dangerous. This is what they did to me, and I got these scars here from this. That's all that I'm saying. So let's go back to the article. Okay, so then so here's the interesting thing here. So she says that Manson's recording label, let me go up a little bit. So Bianco is the latest voice to join the chorus of women accusing Manson, born Brian Hughes Warner, of assault. In the past 2 weeks, more than a dozen, including actress Evan Rachel Wood, have come forward on a social media with the allegations that include being drugged, tied up, and physically harmed by the singer since when Manson left the label Luma Vista Recordings. He is a longtime and his longtime manager and talent agency ACC all have dropped him. Bianco provided me with some emails and text messages, photographs from her time with Manson. A lawyer of the singer did not respond to the details, requesting the information about her claims. Last week, Manson called an earlier allegation against him horrible distortion of reality and accused a woman of misrepresenting intimate and consensual relationships with the like-minded partners. Now, like I said, why was this not brought up years ago? Because of this. Now, let's say allegedly, if he did this and she didn't say anything, all these women were harmed because she never said anything. I'm saying allegedly because I don't know. I hear what she's saying. I hear how the women are coming saying, he did this to me, he did this to me, he did this to me. I don't know. Now, I do know, like, I have friends who have been in physical abusive relationships and got out of them, and the first thing what they did, every single last one of them, and I don't care how much money you have, class, money has nothing to do with you going to the police. And that's one of the things that she did. She went to the police and got a stay away order. And like I said in the previous video, I stayed with her and he came over. We didn't have any issues. But when he came over again, her ex-boyfriend was there and dealt with him like a man would deal with him. And the interesting part is this. Ladies, where are your brothers? Where are your brothers and your fathers? How comes you're not saying, hey, Dad, oh, my brother, he did this to me. Look what he did this to me. You go check him. That's what men do. I'm not going to get in the social part. Let me backtrack. I'm getting ready to start getting upset. But, oh, I didn't mean for it to go this long. But, Esme, I question her intentions, because when she got with Marilyn Manson, then her career took off. Now, she was a model before that, but it really took off. She's on the Game of Thrones. Was it Game of Thrones? She was on that, and had other TV success and movie success. I'm just saying, that's it. I'm just saying that. But on that note, if you disagree with me, if you completely disagree with me, say, hey, BGD, you know, I think you're totally wrong because of A, B, and C, put that down in the description. We can dialogue, or I can do a live stream, and then you can call up or come up and we can hash this out. Say, this is where I think you're wrong, and I think you're wrong because of ABC. Okay? On that note, my subscribers, I want to thank you. Thank you. And if you don't like my content, subscribe, dislike my video, and tell me why you don't like it. But on that note, I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Bye-bye.